figurative and hopefully literal sense.
Yeah, I think in a race like this, it's always interesting to see, what happens when you get early divergence in paths and how it pays off. How it pays off for each runner, and you see right away we have checking Sanctuary right away versus checking Link's house and heading to the good old wounded uncle.
Right, and getting that key in Sank is interesting because you know that there's pretty much just items to pick up now, but depending on which way you end up going about it is going to kind of inform whether you end up using that key. And I don't know, we'll just have to see what we get here in the secret passage first, I guess.
Yeah, and we have Chex just not even bothering with the escape right now. He's going to be taking this way over to Kakariko, trying to farm for some bombs.
Yeah, he gets it on one pool. Yeah, or two of them even. Yeah, and that sets him up really well. Meanwhile, $300 for Andy. He's gonna have him ready to go buy some out of the village, and he won't mind at all.
Yeah, definitely not. 300 is a good amount to have going into Kakariko.
He's gonna get that Sank key. Oh, I missed what's on Race Game, but he's going for it, so I guess I'll find some good news in a moment. Oh, and a map check early. Crystal on Hera, green on Eastern, and blue on Desert.
Yet another green pendant Eastern Palace. Seems like that's happening a lot lately.
Yeah, I definitely see it come and go in streaks. It'll be nice to see if they get the loadout to beat it, being able to turn into Hospital quite easily.
Yeah, it looks like Chex is picking up that 100 rupees off of the Race Game, needing the rupees since he went that way around.
Indeed, and that's going to set him up for the bottle vendor, and having the one bomb, he's going to be able to farm out of the hut in the southwest of the village. Ooh, Silver's on the library.
Silver's on library, Red Rupee, and Lumberjack Cave.
Right, so Aga not required for that reason at least, but depending on some item placements, it may not be out of the question. But that Silver and library, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Depending on where boots end up in the seed, the runners are going to get or not get those, but then getting them is going to depend on some routing and some preference, really.
Right, I think, they're not going to make an extra trip there to get the silvers, but if the boots are early enough, I think you might as well route that on your way to Dark World via Village of Outcasts.
Oh, definitely, and especially with items like the flute, if that comes up too. I mean, you're adding barely a minute to the run to go pick those up and saving much, much more.
Then again, this is a winner-takes-all kind of match, so you never know what might be going through their heads. They might think that minute could be deciding this race.
Right, if they feel like they're already behind the chunk of time otherwise. Yeah, we'll just have to see. Right. Chex falling down the well.
Yeah, it looks like despite the early divergence, it usually ends up with both runners ending up circling around Kakariko, AND4H going and buying those bombs. And look at that hookshot location.
That'd be nice, and we definitely expect Andy will be picking that up in short order.
It's always good when you get a basically free hookshot.
Yeah, it can be frustrating to not have it. There's a couple of plays that it will deter you from, such as Swamp Palace, because, well, you don't want to go in and not finish it if you have to.
You never want to be in a situation where you're thinking, maybe I should go into Swamp Palace without the hookshot.
Yeah, because dipping all the way in there. Ooh, Power Glove.
Okay.
All right.
This is looking pretty spicy early. Still no sword, but, hookshot can at least kill the Moldorms.
Indeed, and that's going to make that cave much easier when these guys head south.
Not that I doubt their accuracy with bombs, but they probably don't want to waste them on mini Moldorms.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a lot more frustrating of a play when you don't have a permanent weapon.
So
man.
pretty interesting start here. It looks like Chex is going up to Lost Woods because I think AND4H went up there. Yeah, it looks
Right,
like
and
is going
Chex
up to
swept
check out
up through the race game.
Yep. So they're basically even at this point.
Right,
which
by
is
the
to be
time they
expected 5
each-
minutes in.
Yeah, by the time they each finish their respective routing here, it'll basically end up being a wash. But we're a lantern or some gumption away from some very early Death Mountain play.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Dark Room Death Mountain happen.
Yeah, most of our runners are pretty comfortable with it. And who knows, with the South play at hand, we may even see a lantern or something yet, too. There's a lot of items.
AND4H seeing the silvers on library, and one quick early time save that AND4H is going to have here is he's going to check this 100 rupees and be not interested.
Most likely. Yep, and indeed, given the old save quit.
Okay, so it looks like with the Sanctuary Warp, we're going to have a Sanctuary basement check.
Right, Power Glove available. Got 3 chests coming up. And keep an eye out for that map. If we find it here, it means the item in the dark part does have an item.
Blowing up a rat for good measure.
And a hammer!
Boy!
Oh, wow. That is
is
a great find.
That's a great find. We got a hammer, got a hook shot. Means we have a weapon and we have a stun weapon. This definitely will be clutch to see if Chex ends up going to Sanctuary Basement. Well, it looks like he is. Or is this?
This is on his way up the mountain.
He's on his way
Yeah,
up the
and that's
mountain,
going to be
so-
interesting because with the hook shot and the hammer, Andy will be able to route all the way up to Hera, like World's Only Crystal.
Right.
With the hammer in particular, he'll be able to finish it, at least kill Moldorm.
Right. He well, assuming he can get he doesn't require the basement of Hera since there is no light source right now.
That's true. The big key could be locked down there.
But yeah, so AND4H is going up Dark Death Mountain, and we'll see if Chex gets lucky with a light source here.
Not off the old man, but he's got a number of items to check before he gets to the place where he very much needs it.
Yeah, for sure. That early hook shot opens up a lot of overworld locations, and I know this is V26, but it seems like Lucky Cave and, in general, the right side of Death Mountain at least will have something you're looking for.
Indeed. And it'll be interesting to see, this being a sequence break to get up here so far. If we find the lamp up here, it means we know the flute's somewhere early.
Yeah, and that's
the other thing
really
we could find is the fire rod would get us that that light source action that we need for Hera to be able to light those torches.
Yeah,
so
and that's actually, if they find the fire rod instead of the lamp here, then that's actually really interesting because it doesn't account for the flute being somewhere easy.
Right. And so how was it you were supposed to get up here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks like AND4H is using the mountain cave or not. Oh, okay.
Deciding he doesn't want to deviate too far off the logic, I guess. He would rather check, I guess, down south here first. And having the mountain save and quit, I guess, figures he can get back up there when he wants.
Right, yeah, it's not too much of a time loss since you do have that mountain cave check. It's basically like fluting up there. It's just interesting that he would abandon that, being able to get to the right side and being able to finish Hera, well, potentially, given the basement wouldn't be required.
Ooh. And so we had the powder in the dam and the ether coin so far in Paradox Cave.
Right, this is...
But yeah, I was surprised by his choice there, too, myself. Not to, I didn't mean to brush you away with that.
No, that's totally fine. I was about to make that same comment.
And blue mail coming out of the drained dam. And it looks like ether was the best thing pulled out of Paradox Cave.
Yeah, we're not even sure if that's a necessary item right now.
Right. We may end up with no dips required into Pendant, Mire, and Turtle Rock. Or just different medallions needed there altogether.
So I guess what we're seeing here is AND4H probably doesn't just straight up doesn't want to do any double dips at all. So he's going to be looking for a light source. But it kind of makes me wonder that if he's going to spend time looking for a light source, why did he take the walk up Death Mountain in the dark?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. I think the main thing would be the save and quit spot there, but even that, it seems like, well, if you weren't gonna be up there and you don't have the flute, then I don't know.
I mean, I'm not one to question because I mean, he's way better than I am at this, so I'm not gonna question too much.
Oh yeah, no.
But it was just a really interesting routing decision, and you know what? Considering nothing good was on the right side of Death Mountain, except for maybe the Ether Medallion, which he'll probably end up getting anyway.
Right,
maybe that was the right call.
Point, yeah. So we'll see what's here. This long walk he's taken to the ice cave.
It is a painful walk to make.
Yeah, having the blue mail helps. You don't feel quite as worried about the crabs, and all for a big 20.
All for a big 20. Now it looks like without the save and quit, he's going to fake Flipper.
I would guess. Meanwhile, Chex is going to check the back of Escape now.
So he will be getting his hammer.
Indeed, and we'll see if he decides to use that key to walk back into the dark portion here.
Yeah, because the map is not in this room, so he's got to kind of make that assumption that it's possible to have a dark room map. But yeah, it looks like he's not opting to take that gamble.
That's fair enough. He might approach it from the front as he heads back up to Hyrule Castle now. And Andy has fake flippered and is going to see what the camper has here.
Let's see if this sequence break pays off. And that could be huge.
Yeah. Wow, the Cane of Samaria at the hobo spot.
That is a pretty good find for Andy here.
On our tracker, Dark Shadows, shout outs to him for doing the tracking for one thing. Also pointing out, as I missed a bit ago, the Mad Batter or Batman or the Bat Cave is a move that's on the table for these guys.
Yes, with the hammer, that's certainly one of those great possible Moon Pearl locations.
Yeah. Meanwhile, both these guys syncing up in the castle now.
We're gonna see what Zelda left for us in her jail cell.
Yes, it's always an interesting one too for all the effort you have to put into getting down here. And with a couple of required kills, usually it doesn't happen until we have a permanent weapon, as we do with the hammer and the hookshot now. And also, if you really wanted to use it, Andy with the cane.
That is true. The cane, I feel like hammer's probably a little bit of a safer bet, considering you may need that magic later.
Indeed.
Oh, there's the map.
All right, so there's an item in the dark, and these runners will have to remember.
I mean, going in from the front, like maybe they'll just go get it now, depending on what's in Zelda chest. I think if you get some fire out of Zelda's chest, then you... Well, I didn't mean literally fire, I meant metaphorically fire. If you get something great out of Zelda chest, I feel like you just ditch. But if you don't get anything, oh, he's going for a death warp here.
Right, just wants to line that up real quick. Make it a little easier for him to get out of here, and just a +5 arrow. Ooh.
Yep, and he's gonna just go ahead and run into this sword for a couple times, and
Yep.
death warp back to the start. Chex picking up that and opting to just save and quit.
Now it looks like Andy's gonna venture into the darkness.
Right, so Chex looks like he is about to go drain the dam. He will get his blue tunic there.
Indeed, and also his powder, and we'll see if he thinks of the Mad Batter. All right.
I like to call it the Bat Cave.
Indeed. Andy making some progress here. Looks like he would be going for the...
Now, Chex got the hookshot clip here, but didn't open the chest.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Probably just a slight misstep.
Yeah, probably hitting A and holding right, and the A just getting eaten.
Right. All right, it looks like Andy got something.
Yeah, I don't know. He'll have to check his start screen to see what it is. Maybe it was just an expansion or a piece of heart.
Our tracker calling a piece of heart.
Got it.
As Chex goes through the south now. Andy heads up to Eastern Palace. Our vanilla green pendant. 3 possible items in the palace. 3 more here in the back of Sahasrah's hut.
Eastern being a pendant in open is always a bit of a bummer. Oh,
Ooh,
well.
there's a lamp.
Oh my goodness!
Go do Eastern.
Oh, he's saving and quitting away from Eastern.
Okay. I guess it's just a pendant, and he can go do Hera.
Yeah, he's going to
fair.
do Hera now, and
That's
you know
fair.
I honestly can't argue against it. I would 100% want to do a crystal before I do a pendant.
Yeah. We'll see what Chex thinks of that when he eventually gets to Sahasrah.
That is one heck of a stock by Sahasrahla.
Yeah. Just wow.
It's like, man, I can't really beat Eastern Palace, but I'm gonna head over here anyway.
Right.
Oh wait.
Yeah, wow, what a pool. Now he's gonna, in a non-sequence broken way, get up here to Death Mountain, check out Paradox Cave, get his ether, heart container.
Yeah, meanwhile, Chex basically doing exactly what AND4H had done while Chex was checking the Paradox Cave, and that's go up to the Ice Rod Cave, then go down here, fake flippers, which means probably he will be picking up the Cane of Samaria here. That was just an effortless fake flipper.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even back into it at all. That was perfect.
The realest of fake flippers, as I hadn't noticed the first time. It was a red rupee on the Hylia Island, so we know that'll be out of play. Andy nailing a bomb jump here.
That'll be the first of possibly many bomb jumps.
Indeed. Don't lose Chex sprite in the water here. Blue mail and seems to disappear.
There's that red cane. Looks like he's actually going to fake flipper his way out and go check Zora's domain.
Yeah, and both of our runners with plenty of money.
Plenty of rupees.
And interesting to note that getting to Zora is not a sequence break for him right now, just the way in which he's doing it being a glitch.
All right. So we have AND4H in our first Crystal Palace. That's an early big key, so that's looking pretty good for not having to do that basement room, but we'll see what the upstairs gets us.
Indeed. A bug net. One.
Well, that's powder and bug net. And, you know, if it were me, because I'm not very good at this, I would be psyched. But these runners are probably, you know, a little underwhelmed at the prospect of powdering anti-fairies and catching them in bottles.
Indeed.
As Dark Shadows points out, until you remember you have no bottle.
Right. But still, being able to powder our fairies is nice. And just a heart piece from Zora. Gosh. It feels like he never has anything useful anymore, but I'll tell you what, when he does, it's something good.
It's a great feeling when you pay that 500 rupees. Oh, there's a small key in that chest.
Yeah, neither of the dungeon items yet.
Right. It's looking pretty bad for having to go do the tile room. Oh,
there goes one.
It all depends on what Moldorm has.
Yeah, we're down to a 50-50 as Chex is going to make his way over to Sahasrahla now, and we'll find out. Does he do Eastern or not?
All right, so we have a Hammer Moldorm fight.
Tricky with the hitbox, but not impossible. I mean, pretty quick too. With just 3 hits as Chex gets his bow and his lantern.
It looks like he's going to do Eastern.
Looks like it. I mean, it's if you're a breadcrumb kind of player. Oh, Andy taking a fall.
That's a fall from a very troll movement by Trolldorm there. Chex thinking that maybe he's the randomizer whisperer, and he's saying, you know what, I feel like it's trying to tell me something.
Yeah, it was. In my mind, it was screaming it at him, but we'll see. In either case, this play to Hera really can't be viewed poorly at all because it is a crystal and you need him to beat the game, so.
Oh,
and there's the Moon Pearl. All right.
And it turns out that it was a really good call.
Indeed. This is paying off huge now. This confirms no Agger required, gets us Dark World access in all the places we need it. And so, yeah, he's going to put that pendant off even further now.
Looks like it, and it looks like he's actually... has he checked the Spiral Cave yet? Because that's probably what he's going to do now.
I think that is now. And there are the boots!
Boots in Eastern, so okay.
All right.
That opens up the silvers. I would guess, given what's going on right now, I would guess Chex will have silvers at the end game, and AND4H will not.
We'll have to see. It really depends on what else is kind of available right away, because there's still a chance that he's going to route back into East just because it's here. But
yeah,
also,
depending on what pod is.
Yeah, and then there's still the chance that we could have some boots locking, too, so he may just have to end up here.
Yeah, Silvers is on Library, so that will be very interesting. You know, I mean, AND4H might be thinking, you know, this is a winner takes all. I'm not doing pendants unless I absolutely have to. Meanwhile, Chex will be dashing around Hyrule willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting turn of events here to see. As Andy's going to waste no time in getting over to Skullwoods and Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, this is super interesting because you just don't know whether the early Moon Pearl versus knowing where the boots are and having them. You don't really know which one of those is actually going to buy more time. One thinks 20-something minutes into the seed. Oh, we're actually getting a Batcave check here first, which is
yeah,
the smart move. You just don't know. I mean, it seems like getting those boots is going to save Chex a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a speed increase, so what could be better than a speed run? But the Moon Pearl obviously required, but naturally, Chex is going to have to pick that up at some point.
Right, yeah, it's a crystal dungeon, so he's got to go get it.
And it was a boss item, yeah. And having just a little bit of trouble getting these Igors to cooperate.
Yeah, he only has 26 more arrows. Yeah, he's going for the green pendant here. All of the items have been found, according to our wonderful tracker, Dark Shadows 59.
Right.
So he's going for the green pendant for the quick Sahasrahla check.
Yeah, you're right here. Like, I mean, it's a play you almost make just because it's here for once. Like, just the full lineup, getting everything you need to make Eastern not a sequence break in the bow and the lamp.
Yeah, getting boots in Eastern. I mean, he's got to feel pretty strong about his gamble to go into the green pendant dungeon here. So you might as well just follow through. There's one thing you got to learn. When you gamble, you better follow through on your gambles.
Indeed. Just a piece of heart for that, but that's all right.
That's okay.
I mean, heck, there's still... there's a map check.
Okay, 4-7-3-5, red 2-6.
5 at Pod, 6 at Ice, and our pendant at Mire. So... I was just about to bring up, we may still have a pedestal seed for all this.
Yeah, we could... Well, Mire being... So that rules out Titan's Mitts.
Right. Flippers?
It could be... It could be Flippers.
Yeah, Flippers, both rods, medallions that are left. And here we go into Thieves Town.
I like to see different runners' approaches to Thieves Town. I've seen a lot of different routes through this dungeon. I think there's a clear winner if you have boots, but if you don't have boots, I don't know. There might be a different route where you just go back down to the starting room, then cross over, just like AND4H is about to do here. Or maybe not. He's opting to go up and to the right, and then down that way. I've seen people hop down off of that first available ledge, and it eats up screen transitions, but it's not a lot of walking time.
Right, yeah, and it's just, it's interesting, as you said, see just what people do to get around all the weird barrier placement here and stuff. Yeah, and then after this, there's pretty much just a straight line you have to walk to get through this.
Chexhuman saving and quitting out of Batcave, and it looks like he's gonna make his way up to get his first crystal and his moon pearl.
Indeed, he's gonna feel good about that. Probably end up doing something similar to what Andy has here. And to respond to somebody hashing things out in chat right now, wanting to suppose a pedestal mirror, it is in fact possible.
Yeah, there's nothing saying that pedestal can't be mirror, and that'd be about on the same par as flippers being in the pedestal. Both of them are locking you out of swamp.
Right. And then that same person pointing out that unless we can't get to book, but right. Just because
actually, the mirror would have to be your way into Desert Palace at that point.
Right, and Desert being a pendant would require it.
Oh, that's right. That's actually a very good call by chat. They both fake flippered to get the Cane of Samaria, so flippers cannot be in pedestal. Since Mire is a pendant.
True. Good call. This is why sequence breaks are confusing.
Dang. Why can't we just have runners that do everything in the order they're intended, darn it?
It does make it exciting. It's always interesting to see there's some of the ones that are basically free and who opts for them and when they pay off. Just what sorts of mess it can make.
Yeah, and fake flippers is one of those when you have the Moon Pearl, at least, Fake Flippers is one of those in V26 that really it pays off even more now that you have the Waterfall Fairy check.
Indeed. And then if the that of course requiring the Moon Pearl, but still, like, it's just, as you said, just literally just more value.
All right, so we have Chex about to go get his first crystal, and AND4H about to go get his second. It may look, if you're just joining us, that AND4H is a dungeon ahead. However, cannot stress enough that Chex found the boots in a pendant dungeon. So over the course of the run, that could definitely make up that one dungeon difference.
Indeed, and depending on whether or not those boots end up required for any reason, it's going to lead to
a wild
long
boots
search.
Chase.
Yeah, wild boots chase. How about it? As we get some cane strats from Andy for the blind fight, Chex taking down Moldorm effortlessly.
Really effortlessly.
Moon Pearl.
Snagging that Moon Pearl.
And Andy sniping down blind with one last Samaria shot.
That's such a cool looking strat. The Canis Samaria blind fight.
Oh yeah, I mean, just set and forget, and just let him run into it.
I absolutely prefer it to the hammer blind fight with the hitboxes.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, probably the safest and one of the quickest non-sword blind fights is the Cane of Burna, of course, but you probably want to have half magic for that.
Okay, so it actually looks like Chex is going to go in to the swamp first.
Hey, not bad. We got what we call the hype cave here.
I like to call it Dagobah.
I dig it. Alright, another bottle here in the Village of Outcasts, this time with some blue potion. Definitely going to be helpful.
Yeah, and that's actually the first bottle. The other bottle we saw was on top of Spectacle Rock.
Oh, so, right, and was not picked up. So
yeah, that opens up Sick Kid.
Yeah. Alright, and is it hype or gripe?
Yoda handing out bombs. His cave handing out not much.
This guy had about as much stuff as, well, as much as Yoda did on Dagobah, so...
Right.
Yeah.
A lot less inspirational speeches and inspiring to use the Force.
Right.
A lot of digs in this digging game.
And not a lot of payoff. And we're just over, just about 33 minutes in and no sword. Especially noticeable when Chex isn't hammer dashing because he would bonk if he did.
Yep.
But he's going to put that loadout to use in pod nonetheless. He's got everything he needs to get this thing done.
Not that I expect this to be relevant by the time these runners are going into Turtle Rock and maybe Mire, but they also cannot use the Ether Medallion until they get a sword.
Indeed. One of those tantalizing sort of items. It doesn't have a ton of uses, but if you're in a bind, you can take out a bunch of enemies at once. If you have a sword to go with it.
Right. Okay, so we're getting a pod check. I mean, this is a finishable dungeon.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see Andy end up following close behind. Seems like he has similar plays on his mind.
Yeah, for sure. Without having the mirror, I mean, you just got to route it as cleanly as possible through the Dark World.
Right.
Or not. Maybe he saves and quits. We just can't predict what AND4H is going to do in this run.
Yeah, it's like his route is randomized.
And it actually looks like he is about to go get those boots.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah, huh.
Oh,
Flippers out of pod. That's
so there's
exciting.
that.
Now that Samaria is no longer.
He's back.
Indeed. All right.
So
So
I like that in chat. Water those.
yeah, water those and flippers out of pond.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, Palace on Darkness or something. Yeah, Andy going into Eastern.
Yeah, he's gonna get these boots. It'll be interesting to see how long he stays in this dungeon once he finds those boots.
Yeah, with the green pendant dangling at the end of it, I have a suspicion that he's going to finish it, but we've been very surprised by his choices so far this run, and not in a bad way.
Yeah, so far it's been paying off.
Indeed. And so if he's counting his items, he'll know that there's not one on the Armos Knights and may just bail out.
He's gonna get his boots, and he's staying in the dungeon for now anyway.
Right, 2 more items. We'll see what he thinks. Meanwhile, Chex just doing a sweep of the front of this Palace of Darkness. And to answer chat, silvers are located in the library, so they might as well have been in EP because the boots were there. You need those to dash at the shelf and knock down the silvers.
Okay, well, looks like Andy is going to go fight the Armos Knights after all.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, punching the Cyclops statues there doesn't quite work. He's gotta wait for it to open those eyes up and shoot an arrow into him.
Yeah, well, Link's punch
Whoa.
doesn't hit for much, but the fire rod sure does.
Flips and the fire rod, both in pod. It's a pretty good Palace of Darkness.
Yeah. 37.5 minutes. It'd be nice if it had a sword.
Hammer's basically the same thing.
Oh, yeah. It's a stubby sword that you whack things with. There's the big key. And the last place is one of the last places that it's nice to find it in.
Okay, so we have a green pendant for Andy here. He's about to go check Sahasrara.
Meanwhile, Chex just leaving a trail of bombs through the dark maze. Finding a little bit of issue with the Kadongos.
But also finding the ice rod.
It really is Rod Pod, as somebody called it in chat earlier.
Rod pod.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, with the flippers being there and leading to Kane, that's like a Palace of Dew Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Man, that's absolutely right.
Yeah, plus minus if they've got the medallion for it.
Check's taking a death warp while Andy is opting to get some hookshot speed. With no sword available, spin speed is not possible, but the hookshot does allow a little bit of extra movement. Still waiting on those Titan mitts.
Yeah, that is one thing that does get in the way of that Turtle Rock play, but still, this place has been jam-packed with the value items.
I really do like the routing by both runners. Andy choosing to do Eastern, knowing that there is a warp to get to Pod very easily just outside of Eastern.
Indeed.
And then Chex going and knowing that there's a lot of item possibility in Pod and just opting to go straight there. Also having done Eastern before already, obviously.
Right. Yeah, for their given circumstances, both these guys got over here in just about as good a time as they could, and Andy making that smart play to get into Eastern beforehand. But yeah, the Titan's mitts and a sword would be needed to get into Turtle Rock right now, and the mitts would also be required to get into ice. So after this, lacking a mirror, kind of expect our players to go clear Skull Woods. Just because it's a crystal, it's generally easy enough to do, and by the end of it, each of them will have their fire rod, which will have them getting all the way out to the back of the woods and fighting Mothula.
Yeah, and the other bonus of Skull Woods is it's right next to a warp, so you don't even have to do much of trekking to get there.
Right. At least not once you arrive into the Dark World.
All right. We do have silver arrows from Chex, so he should one-shot King Helmasaur as soon as he's got his mask off.
Right. Oh, and chat pointing out we do need whoops.
We do need a sword to finish Skull Woods because of the vine.
The real final boss, Vine. But Chex, as you called, would get the single silver into the giant green jewel of the Helmasaur King.
Oh boy.
And there are Titan's mitts.
Pod.
So, all right. Well, quest complete. Go to Turtle Rock.
Still need a sword.
Oh, darn it. Darn it.
Still need a sword, and we're kind of assuming that Ether is the Turtle Rock medallion, which might not be the case.
It's true. But at least with those mitts, they can check some things up on Dark World Death Mountain now, yeah.
Man, this pod.
Yeah, just totally packed to the roof with all sorts of required items.
Both rods, the Titan's mitts on Helmasaur.
Yeah. The flippers, and I don't know what the fifth item was, but I don't know if it matters.
I don't know if it matters at that point. It wasn't anything super good. And is showing a strong preference for the cane as a utility item early in this run.
Yeah, I gotta love it.
Oh, having to juke around the little Helmasaur.
Getting that fire rod now.
We're going to have a Dark World Death Mountain check here from Chex. We got Hookshot Cave coming up. He's going to use Turtle Rock as his warp point.
Makes sense. Get a little information. Might find out that you're just a sword away from entry, or maybe a sword and a coin.
The good part of this is they already know they do have to do Turtle Rock. So there's no guessing there if this is Ether, which it is.
There it is.
Yeah, you're about to learn that he cannot use Ether without a sword. And,
indeed. All right, yeah. Well, Turtle Rock is Ether, so that's a good start here.
I'm expecting a sword out of our Hookshot Cave here.
Yeah, Hookshot or Super Bunny Cave. Probably gonna have a sword. Oh, and somebody called Cape on Sick Kid in the chat, but had their locations mixed up. Got Cape and Shovel.
Shovel. That is a good point. Looks like neither runner has checked Sick Kid, and Chex doesn't have his bottle yet.
Right.
The bottle, I believe, was in the southwest of the Village of Outcasts?
Yeah, it was in the Bombable Hut. And Andy taking what I'm going to guess was a Death Warp.
Yeah, he was running directly into those fireballs.
Just a minor routing mistake, right? No. No.
With the cape invincibility, we have Chex checking the Spike Cave. I'm not sure. Well, I guess he can save and quit out of the Spike Cave.
Has he? He hasn't. He didn't go to Super Bunny, did he?
He did not go to Super Bunny, so
and he stopped to see if that was a. what do you call, see if that was Sankheart. Yeah, so he'll have to go back up. But yeah, I wanted to see if that was Sankheart so that he could maybe make it back and go check Super Bunny. But he's gonna put that off for now.
Well, I hope for his sake that there's no sword in Super Bunny Cave. Although I wouldn't wish wanting to go through Turtle Rock with the fighter sword on anyone.
Yeah, it's a tough trip. Heck, even with the Master Sword, it's enough to dishearten some runners.
I certainly don't like fighting Trinex with Master Sword and no half magic.
Yeah, it's a fight that can easily go south.
Yep, you just get really bad movement RNG on Trinex, and then you're screaming at your computer monitor or your TV.
Right. Oh. Chex dodging the picket, who he tried to stick with an arrow. We'll see what is in the front of Skullwoods. And maybe even the first chest of the back. Unless we find a sword, we won't know what's up with Mothula. And there it is.
We have a sword in Skullwoods.
At 46 minutes, pretty much on the dot. So, guess you go fight. Oh, in the mirror.
Oh, wow. Skullwoods. I mean, there you go. You're done checking items in Skullwoods.
Yeah, just you can go to the very back.
Yeah, I don't think Chex realizes that he's done with Skullwoods.
He also doesn't have the big key.
He just did. He just realized in the nick of time before he blew himself across that pit.
Right. Oh, man. You know, for what it's worth, if you would have gone to Skullwoods before Pod, you would have had the mirror. And that would have been something.
That would have been a big time save.
Yeah, both of our players making the same choice to get Pod done first.
And you know, with the hammer, it's really not that bad having to fight Mothula here with only the fighter sword, because, I mean, at that point, you might as well just use the hammer anyway.
Yeah, what better way to deal with a giant bug than to squish him at 3 times the damage of, I think it's 3 times the damage of the fighter sword. Yeah, Chex was kind of looking around, checking some other items, but I think he remembers now that he's ready to go.
Right, he bailed on the bomb jump because he didn't have the big key, and he probably just now realized that, oh wait, I got both the items already.
Right, I guess the sword sometimes doesn't feel like one of the traditional items. But not too much time lost there doing that, as Andy's gonna go check the pyramid.
Getting that hookshot speed again.
Very nice. And just blue rupees.
Just a Lincoln.
Yep. Oh.
Oh.
And sneak it through just in the nick of time. Gonna want to unload that silver on the Gibdo, grab the key. And we're gonna have ourselves a Mothula fight.
It's actually really important that he has silver arrows here because he didn't have to waste fire to kill the Gibdos quickly.
Indeed. Ooh, and just sneaking out of the clutches of the Wallmaster.
That was a close one.
Yeah.
We got a Namazuo check here from AND4H.
A what now?
Namazuo.
Huh?
And
is that I was gonna say, is that the name of the legendary catfish?
Yeah, it is actually the name of the legendary catfish that causes earthquakes from within the ocean. Hence why he gives you the Quake Medallion in Vanilla Link to the Past.
Interesting.
Little tidbit of information for you.
Yeah, there you go. Getting some what's in a name or behind the game or whatever you might like to call it.
Well, Chex is out of fire, so he's going to switch to the hammer here. And there's that last blow that he needed.
Well, if you can't kill it with fire, I guess kill it with the hammer? It's the only way to be sure.
Andy actually getting that. I wouldn't necessarily call it a glitch, but not having to actually bonk off of King's Tomb by activating dash speed off of the side of the grave there.
Right. And now, what did he get there?
It was a heart piece, I believe.
Nothing too great then.
Yeah, I mean, when it's not an important item, I kind of tend to forget it immediately.
Yeah, and we're going to see Chex backtrack here while Andy checks bonk rocks, and looks like Chex will probably go face off in Thieves Town. Smashing the Ropa.
We're probably going to get a Skullwoods from Andy, so really, this is still a very tight race.
Yeah, each of these players, again, going to be walking over ground the other has already trodden. Oh, we are getting that sick kid check, though. That is something new and unique to Andy's side with the bottle here. Just bombs.
We'll see if Chex mirrors here to check sick kid.
It would be a very slick move on his part. And here goes Silvers for Andy. He heads to the library.
Okay, so Chex is now checking this cave, which he's going to be very pleased with. I forgot that he didn't have a bottle yet to check sick kid, so now he does. Now we'll see if he mirrors and checks sick kid.
That's what I was thinking would be the real slick route. And then the moment of truth would be, does he remember which house? But he won't be too far off when he guess.
All right, yep, so Andy definitely going over to Skull now.
Yep. It's like an almost high five.
Yep, very close to a high five. Just missing by a couple seconds there. So when Andy finds his sword here, obviously the play is to immediately finish Skullwoods. And when Chex gets out of Thieves Town with this crystal, having basically the whole world as your oyster at this point, what do you think their next move is in terms of what dungeon they go to?
You know, I think we missed calling it. I think Chex is in go mode.
That is, yes, with Turtle Rock being...
Yeah, when he picked up the mirror.
That, yeah.
Or whichever item was second in Thieves, he was in go mode, and we totally missed it. We let that slip, because what I was thinking was, he's got Swamp now, and he's got Ice Palace, and and he can do TR. And it was, it occurs to me.
Pretty good go mode dungeons here.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I think the next move for him might be save quit to the house, go to Swamp, set that up, run straight through it. It's so quick in go mode. So is Ice Palace. Absolute joys to do in go mode. And then Andy probably roughly same thing.
Yeah, because Andy is also, it looks like in go mode.
Right,
so,
yeah. I can't believe we just let it slip by.
Yeah, well, I mean, it happened quickly.
Right.
That mirror in Skullwoods being the go mode for both runners.
Oh, you know what? Chat pointing out Master Sword needed.
That is true.
Yeah.
I would certainly hope that there's a sword in one of these dungeons.
Yeah. And in that way, I think you still make the play on Swamp first because there's more chests in like the easy critical path. And clutched away by the Wallmaster.
Getting knocked by the spike into the clutches of the clutch.
Oi.
I didn't mean it.
No, that's fine with me. But, King gonna be very judicious with his magic power here.
Okay.
consolation of not having to fight the Gibdo one more time on the way through.
My guess is Chex is not even going to bother checking the big chest. But what do I know?
Well, here he goes. I wonder if, he's probably thinking that, hey, I do still need that sword. But I really wonder, there's like a surprisingly good chance, I think, of if you just go ahead and go it to GT that you're going to end up with a Master Sword.
Yeah, at least a Master Sword.
It feels like it has to be.
It was a pretty touch and go fight for both runners on Mothula, but they pulled it out.
Yeah, indeed. In chat, asking and answering, what exactly do you need the Master Sword for? It is, in fact, to damage Ganon, and that is it.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a script fight rather than a Kane of Samaria fight from Chex.
Yeah. He's already into the second intermission.
Very clean. Very clean.
Absolutely toasted it. Huh. Andy's going to head up the mountain. I guess he hasn't been to Dark World Death Mountain.
He has not been to Dark World Death Mountain yet. He also... I mean, this isn't going to be an interesting bit of routing if he says, you know what, I walked all the way up here. Do I just do Turtle Rock?
Yeah, I mean, considering that dungeon is one that doesn't benefit necessarily from playing it in Go mode because you still need to find the big key in what is a very just like strewn about dungeon. You figure, hey, well, I'm going to look for a sword in there rather than Swamp, which can be done so quickly if you don't bother to pick anything up. Yeah,
I mean, really, it's if he finds a sword in Turtle Rock, that's pretty large, in my opinion. Now,
absolutely.
Whether it accounts for that second trip up Death Mountain to get in to Ganon's Tower.
There it is!
And you know what? Did I commentators curse this? I think I did.
Maybe.
I said, for Chex's sake, I hope there's no sword in Super Bunny Cave.
Right, because he skipped it earlier, and now might not do it until he decides to do Turtle Rock, which means he's probably going to be doing 6 items.
Okay, Andy, so that is an official, if we want to call it now.
Yeah, a sub-hour Go mode, about 57 minutes. But now he has to go check that shovel. Oh.
Yeah, obviously.
I'll tell you what, one more sword upgrade here would be nice, but I think with what's on the line and knowing a bit about Andy's sort of personality when it comes to these runs, I think it's going to be him dashing straight to the finish at this point.
Oh, absolutely. With silvers, it's a no-brainer for runners of this quality.
Indeed. Now, what won't Andy pick up in this chest?
Yeah, Chex definitely making the call for items first in Swamp, looking for that second sword in a place that's got a lot of treasure chests in it.
Indeed. Yeah, 6 here, 5 in Turtle Rock. The difference being that I think you can literally skip all of them if you want to in Swamp Palace.
Right. Between these two runners, I don't know if Chex is actually going to go mode Swamp Palace or not. There are 2 treasure chests that are available if you don't decide to go mode the dungeon.
Right, on the left side. And even the, honestly, even that first chest was completely optional. We get a nice early big key from Andy. He's going to sneak out the door under the watchful eye of the laser. But yeah, you run in, you grab this key, and then you just head to the back, and there's another key just placed somewhere. So he's going for probably a full clear here. We'll see if he saves the left side for last, though. Ooh, and getting the bonus heart, hookshot in that heart up.
Good reflexes.
Yeah. And having the hookshot out already for nice. Not that he was in a terrible spot for health.
Getting an invincibility dash through these nasty spike roller things.
He's fun.
Running out of magic.
Taking a little bit of abuse for it. And so the net, the powder, and 1 bottle.
Yeah.
Gonna be the safety kit for these runners heading through. Mentioning it because Turtle Rock is a dungeon quite filled with anti-fairies. Andy preps his cane for some chain chomp action.
And obviously the chain chomp's not giving him a very compliant RNG. He needs
no,
to
not at all.
Or use the cape.
There we go.
That is also an option, to use the cape.
Definitely the more efficient time-wise. And now I missed the 2 items from Chex over here.
Yeah, I was too nervous about chomps.
Yeah, and it's looking like the full clear in here is something of a dud play. Yeah, we're seeing a gap form between these 2 runners at this point, but depending on some execution and when Chex decides to go up to the mountain, if he goes to Super Bunny Cave, it may not be all that far off.
Yeah, it may come down to Ganon's Tower execution. Getting that early big key, opting not to check the chest in the center of the Turtle Rock lava tubes room.
Yeah, already having the big key, having a key to give here. Guess that lines him up pretty well to get moving on this. Or maybe I always miscount, but it might come down to Laser Bridge.
Oh, and he's actually changing his mind. He wants to go check at least the big chest and maybe Mimic Cave.
Yeah, it looks like it. Down goes Argus for Chexhuman.
He's rewarded with 50 whole rupees. It's a nice high school graduation present from Argus.
I was going to say, in big grains of salt, he really wants a sword.
He really wants a sword, and again, it's just a shame that he decided to skip right over Super Bunny Chest. He'll like you said, he'll probably grab it on his way up to Turtle Rock. But it's still a shame that he's been waiting this long for a sword, and it was right there the whole time.
Yeah, he's gonna go end up full clearing Ice Palace now too, and that's where it's really gonna start to we're really gonna start to see the difference. Because Andy's gonna have to climb the mountain again, but he's gonna be able to just skip so much.
I mean, not to mention the cold stare fight between, depending on what sword you have, that cold stare fight could be way different.
Oh, absolutely. But we are going to see a waterfall wishing check here. It's a heart piece and some bomb swamp. Yeah. Ooh. Now, I think he was the one who... No, maybe not. He's going to do Zora now, too. And to answer our glorious restreamer Selness, shout outs to him for getting this up. He was asking, why didn't Andy do ice first? And it's because he went into go mode while he was up here in Super Bunny Cave and figured, well, I'm here. May as well finish it. At least that's my estimation of his thought process.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to walk up Death Mountain 3 times.
Yeah, that's basically what you... Well, I guess you'd route it in at the end. But still, for me, the big thing is the difference here where a go mode Turtle Rock wasn't going to save that much time over a full clear.
Yeah, I think for certain going and shopping for a sword in Turtle Rock, allowing yourself to go mode Swamp and Ice was, in the end, the right move.
Yeah. He's bringing that hammer to bear after that sort of first part of the second part of Trinex. Making pretty good... things considered. Took a couple of hugs at the beginning, but it was to maximize those spins. And he gets a delicious burrito for his efforts.
And if you'll notice, Ice Palace here giving Chex an early key. So it'd be interesting to see, if he uses that and he goes right out of that big spike trap room, or if he goes more vanilla on his way to that ice with the fire bar.
Yeah, either way, I hope something he finds is a sword, because this is going to become unmanageable for him at a certain point.
Yeah, the worst case scenario here for Chex would be 2 swords in Ganon's Tower, or a sword in Ganon's Tower and a sword somewhere in a pendant dungeon. And I say that because with AND4H having the Master Sword already, the sword in Ganon's Tower would give him tempered and silver, which makes that Ganon fight basically free.
Yeah, any sword upgrades they end up having in common for the rest of this route are not doing a whole lot for Chex. He needs one that Andy's not gonna get. And then another one, if he can muster it. Because as you mentioned, the difference between Tempered and Master, absolutely significant. In particular, only Master Sword spins will hurt Ganon. They take a lot more time to line up and a whole lot more knockback.
Yeah, and you have to do a lot more of them.
Right.
Oh, and he turns around just at the last second, realizing he had that early key.
Yeah,
Doesn't
why
have
not?
to go through all of that hookshot room nonsense.
Yep. And there's
Finding
the big key.
And deciding not to go upstairs.
Interesting. That's... Well, those chests are kind of out of the way, I guess, but...
They're a bit out of the way.
Yeah, that's, well, I don't know, we'll see. I guess there's this too, and there's the cane of Brian.
The can of Birna.
The barn of Kina.
So many names.
All the names. And replenishing his key supply.
Yeah, he's going to go down and just fight Cold Stare right now.
Think? But he might... Yeah, no, he's doing it. All right.
He did pick up... No. Andy picked up Bombos, so...
Right. Yeah, he'll be putting the fire rod out for this.
Yeah, and this is a fighter sword, or I guess it would be a hammer Cold Stare fight.
Yeah. Which, worth mentioning, Andy beating Trinix earlier with no half magic and master, as you pointed out, not a fun thing to do. I kind of forgot about it as he was doing it because he did so well at it.
Yeah, he did a great job. He got himself up to get those spin slashes on the redhead.
Yeah.
And, before we knew it, it was kind of over already.
Yeah.
It was very efficient. Chex taking a lot of early damage here from Cold Stare, but he seems to have stabilized.
Right, and he's been... If I'm looking at that right, he's basically phasing out the ice debris up at the top of the screen.
Yeah, I guess if he's at the top of the screen, it hits the wall and doesn't explode.
Right. And there you go. Bring the fire rod to bear to try to finish off this fight.
Yeah, having that blue potion...
Saying, hey, I'm going to race here. We need to get things done a little quicker than this.
Yeah, I don't have time for this. I'm going to burn you. I get a magic refill after I beat this boss anyway.
Exactly. And there we go. That's going to be 6 crystals for Chexhuman.
We have the painfully slow Master Sword Argus fight.
Right, having to give 2 hits to each of these puffs. Probably still a little faster than menuing around for the hammer.
Yeah, you don't get it in as few cycles. However, in terms of the number of seconds it takes, I mean, I would say that the Master Sword double swing is probably faster. I haven't timed it myself. Oh, interesting that he's going for Master Sword swings here. Then he lines up the shot with the silver arrow to one-shot him. Right,
trying to get him in the corner. Makes sense. There we go. That's going to be 6 crystals for Andy as well, and he's got a go mode ice to a full clear Turtle Rock potentially, if depending on whether or not Chex thinks of going into Super Bunny Cave.
And he's in the light world right now, so it doesn't look like he's going to.
Right, he would have to backdoor it, and I mean, it's not out of the question, but looking like that's going to create some extra time for Andy to do what will be a quick ice palace and a climb of the mountain.
So it looks like we are going to get a Fighter Sword Trinex fight, which again ends up being a Hammer Trinex fight. Sports Hefe, Chex is still looking for a Master Sword, and right now he looks like he's just going to be gambling that it's even in Turtle Rock. It's either in Turtle Rock or he's going to find an upgrade in Ganon's Tower.
Right. Yeah, it's going to come down to probably Andy's going to finish this dungeon before Chex finishes his, and then Chex's disposition and kind of where he thinks to look for that sword, because it's right under his nose in the Super Bunny Cave. But
at this point he may have he may not even realize that he didn't check it.
Right. And that's what I was thinking, was just like, do you even remember at this point?
Hookshotting his way through the rolling pins.
And Super Bunny Cave, to answer chat, is oh, I thought he was asking what it was, then I realized who was asking. But yeah, indeed, an unfortunate miss, but maybe just a delay, we'll say, and we'll see if he gets to it after. Meanwhile, Ice Palace bomb jump for Andy, gets it in one go.
Andy is Taskbot confirmed. Yeah, for both runners here, just really slick, well-practiced strats. Very impressed with both executions.
And sneaking around these chain chomps, able to kind of lull them to something of a sleep before taking just one hit.
Just one hit is not bad for a chain chomp room.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's about all you can really take in there usually. It's ooh. And now we're seeing just how much faster Andy was able to get to this penultimate chamber of the Ice Palace.
Right, basically checking no item locations.
Yep.
And opting to use Bombos here to save some magic for the Fire Rod. I don't believe he's used his blue potion yet, so he's going to have that in reserve going up to Ganon's Tower.
Indeed, and that'll be a nice help to him if this half magic never pops up.
And we have Andy getting a bit of a corner on Cold Stare, getting some solid Fire Rod shots in. That's about as good of a Master Sword Cold Stare fight as you're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, with the loadout he has, yeah, you got to put that Fire Rod.
Yes, and now that Andy will be going up to Ganon's Tower, as the Speed Gaming Twitch account said in chat, get your big key location guesses in now. What number chest in Ganon's Tower will the big key be in?
That's right. Got to be a number. Just put a number in, like Korek and MD Cappy have put.
What's your guess? What's your guess?
I've been on 16 lately, but somebody got the guess in before me, so I think they'll end up winning if it's right. You got to be a subscriber to one of the Speed Gaming channels, or if you've given 250 bits in total, not all at once even, to any of the Speed Gaming channels, then you qualify to be on the leaderboard. Which, of course, is to play for the glory of being on the leaderboard.
Heck
but
yes.
It's good fun.
The only kind of glory that matters. All right. I'm going to say 2 because I'm a nice guy. I'm talking about the dream of big key in the right chest, small key in the left chest of the right room.
Indeed. Yeah, we're seeing Chex still working his way through, and he makes his way back up Super Bunny Cave.
He will be entering Ganon's tower any moment here, having to dodge some Lionel fireballs. Getting by that Lionel without taking any damage.
Very nice. Yeah, and it's somewhat frustrating when you don't have a tempered sword. You don't do any damage to these guys when you run into them, and in fact, they damage you. Like it's not just like a bunt out of the way. No, you've done nothing and just run straight in. So, all right, Andy walking in the front door.
Okay, here we go. This is the end game for Andy. And what's really the tragedy here is Chex saying,
Number 2.
Did I just they didn't get the small key. They didn't get the small key, but
fine.
Did we have it? Yes, we had a guess of 2 in the chat as well.
Yeah.
See, optimism does pay off sometimes.
So shout outs to Guardian and Newbite being the closest supporter with a guess of 1. Well, here we go, kids. And meanwhile, no swords to be had anywhere in T-Rock, so... Chex has a tough Trinex fight. That hammer can be tricky.
And the thing here with Chex is he's going to be finishing up Turtle Rock around a little before 120.
Right.
He's going to be going over to Ganon's tower at 120. He's got to be feeling great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just if he gets that number 2 big key, then he's like, oh, but now I have to look around for a sword. Or I guess he could do it after he finishes. Well, he wouldn't want to do it after I get 2. He's going to be all the way on the pyramid. But yeah, it's that's going to take the wind right out of his sails for that.
Right, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see, I mean, because of how early the big key is. Does he search in Ganon's tower? Does he just go ahead, beat Aga 2, go to like the Pyramid Ferry or someplace that's open to him that way? Does he go to the Grove? There's no Aghanim warp here. There's no Aga 1 warp, I should say.
Yeah.
So there's no real quick way to Ganon's tower.
Yeah, and we might be surprised to see him jump back into Super Bunny Cave yet. We'll have to see. He's going to be right here, and if he does it, it's going to be the most effective path.
Chex actually going for the blue head first.
Yeah, no, and he's got a long fight ahead of him. He doesn't want to deal with any ice on the floor. I'd say it's a pretty good move. Meanwhile,
yeah, I don't hate it at all.
Melting down the gauntlet.
That gauntlet was impressive.
Yeah. He's going to put silvers into these Lambos. Missing some shots, but that's all right.
Chex being careful with his ice rod shots. He does not want to miss.
Yeah, the ice rod. Ooh.
Oh.
Now, which potions does he have? Oh, there it goes. All right. And here comes phase 2.
Yeah, he wait, where was the second bottle? What did he pick up in the second bottle?
He got a red potion.
Got it.
Yeah, which
he
was
did already use his blue.
Right. He's sneaking in and out and takes down Trinex here at 118.18.
Oh. Got denied on the one cycle on the Wizrobe room, did Andy.
Oh. And we'll see what he feels like gambling now, if he just knows he left Super Bunny behind. Of course, he doesn't know the sword is there, but he'll sure be hoping it thinks of it. Alright, which way is he going?
He's going
right to the tower. Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
This is going to be a little rough for him.
Oh, man. This is... I mean, at this point, I think it's fair and all right to say that Andy obviously has a very objective lead here.
Very objective lead.
It's still a compelling thing to see this gamble play out for Chex, even though he is in the second position in this race.
And it really it boils down to that Super Bunny cave. You gotta think.
It was
maybe
right
Chex,
there.
You gotta think that maybe Chex makes that same call that Andy did if he has Master Sword.
Right. Yeah, and then this match basically is Andy's a little bit behind Chex for most of it, plus minus some execution gaps. Taking out Moldorm, getting that very last chest of the game, picking up some prize money.
I was almost hoping that was a sword.
Oh man. Oh man. That would have been something. I mean, it would have tucked this game away for Andy, but if we would have seen from Chex just the ascent with the fighter sword, it just would have been absolute YOLO mode. But
that would have been a YOLO mode with a very appropriate reward.
Yeah.
That's a triple.
I think so. The only thing that would have stopped that would have been some timing.
Yeah, and then some really bad placement from the Aghanim clones.
Yeah, that's a tough one to work out. And we are seeing the
second one.
Nice.
And there we go. Yeah, he's grasping.
Yeah, so I think that first one ends up being a double then, or
yeah, that would have been, if that was a triple, that would have been 6 hits.
Yeah, on what was the second double. So yeah. All right, and so just about 121, we're going to be dropping into Ganon's pit. And it's not a free fight with the Master Sword for the first couple of phases, but with the silvers to finish it, it's gonna finish off a lot faster than it starts. Meanwhile, Chex just continuing his clear of the Ganon Tower.
Getting some good placement from Ganon right up against the wall, so you can get 2 really easy spin slashes in there.
Yeah, and even getting 2 strikes per spin out of that too. Doubling down on his double down.
He's getting really good Ganon placement.
Yeah.
There's no gap between, or there's just enough gap between him and the wall for him to stand there and just spin slash. Now that's a key blue potion that he had in reserve.
Indeed.
And here he's going to stand inside the fire ring, so he's going to get several shots in on Ganon here.
Yeah, and that's real nice. Basically, the big benefit here, of course, being getting wedged into the wall means not having to deal with the knockback that you're seeing now. But we're into phase 3, and that is good news.
It's really good news for Andy. Really, the only thing that I can see going wrong here is somehow missing the torch glitch or some really bad movement and placement from Ganon. Lining up a shot with a fire bat.
Right. And lining up pretty nicely in the ring there. All right, gonna get a.
Oh, and he doesn't get the torch glitch. However, he does have silvers.
Yeah, this shouldn't be too much.
He does have to spin slash in order to freeze him up. He's gonna go for a double here.
Oh.
Doesn't quite get it. He's not gonna get another spin slash in before he lights the torches again. He's still opting for fire rod and missing once.
Ooh, yeah, it's getting a little dicey. And I'm not sure if he's got anything here. No, just the one with that kind of placement, I think. Oh, and still no. Oh, GG, Andy.
Andy.
That teleport in there caught me off guard almost. Yeah. Oh man, finishing that up and like really giving a clinic on the Master Sword Silver's Ganon. Because with the teleport RNG he had.
Yeah, that was really good. And it looks like Andy's finishing up here with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 15 seconds.
That was a rush, man. That was a rush.
Andy, GG. Seriously, that was a joy to watch too. Like
that was a real joy to watch. Minutes
you ripped that seed. Like
holy moly, I was shaking there, like, oh.
GG, seriously, right? Oh, and with the Ganon teleport placement, like, wow, just being able to spin and spin and spin.
Yeah, I got lucky there too. It was perfect.
I mean, yeah, just to cap off what was just an excellently executed run. It was like, look, you're gonna do it. Here you go.
Yeah, it was a little off there when you had that fire rod out and you did a shot directly into the wall. That was
well deserved it, man.
Yeah, no, I was looking at him funny. But yeah, wow, just like. Obviously, like top-notch execution, and then pulling the route all the way through too. The the thing it really came down to was Super Bunny.
Chex went for Super Bunny.
Well, he didn't go. He was there. And
cave.
Oh, yeah. And he does finally find, well, the flute and Master Sword in the 4-chest room on the right side. That's
basically like chest 20, I guess.
Can we bring up here that you finished in 123.15 in a fluteless seed?
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually, though. At least it wasn't bootless.
Right, yeah. You saw the silvers earlier, and we're like, well, they're here somewhere. The logic wants me to have the silvers.
I mean, even then, like...
Yeah.
It's a 20-second detour for, like, a minute time save on the ganon fight. It's like, alright.
Absolutely.
I think I'm just gonna go out of my way to get this whenever I feel like going to Skullwoods.
Yeah. Nah, very well done. And, but yeah, so he skips Super Bunny, ends up full clearing Swamp and Ice, and then going into Turtle Rock. Whereas once you had that Master Sword, I mean, you knew what was what with Go mode, and just had at.
Yeah, as soon as I found the mirror, I was like, I need to go upstairs now and find out. Like, do I need to go find another medallion, or am I good to go pending a sword? It's weird when the sword is the final Go mode item, by the way.
Yeah, it really is, and we got really excited. I guess it was at Skull Woods, a bit delayed. We were like, wait a minute, did these guys just slip into Go mode? But still having the fighter sword, then technically not, but still. It was wow.
My intention is if I didn't get if Turtle Rock was Ether, which it was, and I did not find a Sword of Dark World Death Mountain, I was going in and looting it.
Right.
So speaking of the slight divergence in routes that you two had, it was a very interesting start. I guess sort of the start of the run where you went to Hera and Chex went to Eastern. And then you found the Moon Pearl on Moldorm, and then he finds the boots. And so we had a quick conversation about what was more of the time save, having boots, which we didn't even know you were going to check. And
yeah, I mean, my plan was to do both Eastern and Pod together, no matter what. There was no ifs or doubts in my mind unless I was in Go mode already, which I doubt I was going to be. It's like
Right.
it would have been better to find a mirror first so I can go into Pod and then Eastern, like without having to go to the portal. But that was my mindset. I was definitely going to do Eastern eventually because the 4 items, Saha and get the 3 chests, and then the portal to Dark World right into Pod, which had a whole lot of good stuff.
Oh yeah, that was what we were
darkness.
wondering about the Turtle Rock play. Was literally like everything you needed to get in was there. It was except the sword, except the sword because you went back to Skull after that. But yeah. Yeah, what a seed.
Turtle Rock care package.
Indeed.
Chex getting the one cycle on those whiz robes, but then getting denied by the pitchfork cows.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that, man. They're
There's just like some pixel they hit where they're like, nope, don't care.
Oh, I guess you're playing the ending, huh? Kind of forgot.
Oh, the credits, right?
Right, yeah.
Any other big standout moments for you? I mean, as you said, it was like an absolute rush.
Outside of the hilarious Skullwoods Wallmaster, I don't think I've ever played better.
Yeah.
But I really don't think I've ever played better. Like, I was swordless for most of it, but I still handled it pretty well. I fighter sword Mahula because I hate that guy and he deserves it.
Right.
Having early go mode like that. Trinex went well. My Ganon fight wasn't perfect outside of the first 2 phases. Like the first 2 phases could not have been better, but that is a little bit rocky. That's nerfs at that point.
Yeah, and I mean either way, like obviously you came out on top in this match, but also like for the loadout, the Master Sword trying to line up the spins and stuff, it's a lot. That knockback is huge.
Definitely.
But yeah, your Trinex fight, I think I said it later, was I didn't realize how low percent you were on with like the Master Sword. And then you finished it. I was like, oh yeah, that was a Master Sword fight.
And also my routing, and as far as the beginning of my route, I love going to early Death Mountain to, get the safe equip point. But I kind of held I usually would be all for going straight to Hera with the items I had, but because I didn't have a fire source, I was concerned that, say, the basement was needed. It's like, well, it's a really long hike without a mirror.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, that was the reason I held my tongue and went to Saha's hut instead. And if there was nothing there, I was going to go to Eastern. But because I got lamp and bow, I was like, all right, I'm going to go back up. And
Makes sense. Yeah, we were wondering about that too. We're like, oh well, you know, I guess he didn't want a sequence break. Well, but he sequence broke to get up here. And
I was aware of the logic. It's like, I know a sequence broke to get up here. I know either a lamp or a flute is somewhere, and I don't want to, like I said, don't want to risk being fireless when I might need an inherit when I have to walk all the way up right side to get there.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you definitely made the best of it as far as that went with, if you're going to return the old man, like, yeah, go check other things out. Because, as you said, that unconventional way of getting to Harrow with no mirror, bit of a trip. Meanwhile, Check's taking down Aga 2 now, here, just over 130.
Yeah, he will be heading over to Ganon with a red potion and, I don't know, a lot of hearts. So that's not going to be the problem for him here at the Ganon fight. Really,
I face tank the heck out of Ganon. It's like, I got a blue potion. I'm just going to eat these bats. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, and it probably bears mentioning you have made yourself a runner in the giant playoff race happening this weekend. So congrats on that.
It's actually this weekend. When is it, actually?
I think, I want to say it's on this Saturday? Unless it hasn't been scheduled yet.
I hope it's not scheduled yet. We're on this weekend, because JRTA is this weekend, and I have 2 runs in it.
Oh, according to Dark Shadows 59 in the chat, who was helping us out on Tracker, 3 p.m. Eastern Saturday.
Eastern Saturday? I think that literally might be touching my run. I don't actually know. It really depends on how the scheduling goes. I have to look at the JRTA schedule now. Uh-oh.
We're going to phase 3 of the Ganon fight here. It looks like, it looks like Chex has got 6 hearts, so he's got a hit in him, plus the red potion.
Right, having found that on the laser bridge in TR. Alright. But yeah, hopefully the schedules will work out for you to participate.
Gunstar Heroes at 1:35 p.m. Alright, so I'm barely on the cusp. Alright, I think I can squeeze it in.
Alright,
go
fast.
Gunstar Heroes is not a long run, so I'll have time. You said it was,
Alright.
You said it was 3 p.m.?
That's what we're being told.
Okay, then I can barely get in. We're good.
Fantastic.
Unless of course, you know, it's a marathon. Anything can happen to a schedule in a marathon. So
it's true.
Check's not getting the torch glitch either here. He did get 2 shots in with the silver arrows, so he really only needs 1 more. It looks like he's going to get it right here.
And GG to Chexhuman. Show him some love in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, his 133 is a loss here, but that's ridiculous. Again, considering it's a fluteless seed. I mean, it's a great time. It looks like his final official SRL time is 1 hour and 33 minutes on the dot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, not even a whole 7 minutes behind him. What turned out to be a bit of a gamble of a finish for him. But yeah, literally, it seems like the only thing that might have been able to be changed on the route was basically if you went to Skull right after you did Thieves Town, having the mirror for Pod. That was about it. And other than that, I mean, you absolutely it
was great
yeah.
execution. It was great execution on both parts. It really was just that one little routing mistake that ended up being the difference in this matchup.
Indeed. Ah, we have ourselves a Chexhuman. I did not see you there.
Yes, Chexhuman
GG
is in our chat here.
Yeah.
GG Chexhuman. A heck of a run. It's
yeah,
really unfortunate. Really unfortunate that your 133 ends up not advancing you. That's That is shocking to me. It really is.
Tough competition. I understand.
Yeah. Now, some perhaps bad news for you. The key difference in this race.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it was?
Sword upgrades?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but do you know where there was one that you didn't get? It was in Super Bunny Cave.
Oh no.
That's
a terrible mistake on my part.
It's a bummer.
Wow, it's a bummer.
Yeah. But when you do a section of the mountain like that, easy to forget. Yeah.
I would have gone into Turtle Rock with that sword, I guess.
That was what Andy did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wonder what
really ended up being the difference in this race.
I was going to go... oh, yeah. I was thinking I forgot something. I was thinking that I had forgotten something on my way to Spike Cave, and I don't know why I didn't go right. Instead, I went... with my cape, I went left. I was probably thinking about the cape and what I could use it for.
Following the trail.
Wow.
It's a thing that can happen. Yeah.
But, you know, I was slightly unfocused. I think I didn't look at the waterfall ledge on my first route through, so that slowed me down too. That made me, you know, I wanted to go back there and check stuff.
But, yeah, I hesitated to bring that up because I didn't want to cast a shade on what was an excellent run.
It really was.
But both of you guys just made just absolute lightning of this.
Yeah, it was a fun seed.
It was certainly fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's really I don't think I can say it loudly and proudly enough. Just killer execution in all of the dungeons on both parts of both of these runners. Just really just fun to watch. Really fun to watch finish there. Just really, I can't say enough how nearly flawlessly each of these runners' execution was.
Yeah, it's one of those matches where it was a shame that somebody had to lose. But any standout parts for you, Chex? Like some favorite moments or stuff you felt like was really strong?
I like the double rods in Dark Maze. That's something I've seen before in some other seed, but happy it happened here.
Right.
That Helmasaur King.
Yeah, we were saying Pod basically lining you up for go to rock.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, but yeah, unfortunately that loss dropping you to 2 and 4 gonna get you to the end of the Swiss rounds and unfortunately out of the big playoff this Saturday. But yeah, I mean, just another proof in this match of just how stiff the competition is in this tournament.
Definitely.
Yeah. You guys have any other thoughts on the run?
No. I was happy to participate and finish with a decent time.
Yeah, as we said, not a bad showing. It was just an unfortunate thing with the sword there, really, that kind of split this one apart a bit. And I think when the next one of these rolls around, you're going to be one of the runners to watch for, which will roll me into a little bit of a plug here. If you did enjoy the race, be sure to give these guys a follow, because you can expect to see a lot more of this goodness. And Andy mentioning JRTA this weekend, not something I actually know a lot about. You want to talk about that a bit, Andy?
It's a marathon to get 4 Japanese speedrunners to Awesome Games Done Quick in January. It is a fundraiser for that purpose.
Interesting.
Wow.
So
that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a fundraiser for another fundraiser that I'm sure a chunk of us have heard of, Games Done Quick.
Cool.
Which is a week-long event raising money for charities. So if you want to see some very good runners be able to go, make sure you give that a look. And obviously a donation. Yeah.
It is this weekend. I think it's twitch.tv/JRTA Marathon, I believe is the link.
Very cool.
Double check and then I'll plug it. I'm plugging it.
Woo! Plug it in.
Plug it in. Yep, it is. Yeah, here's the marathon channel. It is this weekend, and again, it is raising money to get 4 Japanese speedrunners to our shores to speedrun for GDQ.
Yeah, and that's as worthy a cause as any.
Definitely.
Yeah. But, all right, well, thank you so much for the run, guys. Positively entertaining. Andy, good luck with the rest of the tournament, and Chex, good luck in the next one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks to both of our runners.
Thanks for
of course.
commentating.
Oh, for sure.
It's not a problem. It was a joy, believe me.
Absolutely.
But thank you very much for our tracker, Dark Shadows 59.
Indeed. Keeping
And
all the buttons clicked.
Yeah, and our restreamer, Zelnus TV on Twitch.
Yep, I'm putting the stream together, making sure we get to see the awesome action. And thank you, chat, for staying tuned in. Be sure to give our runners a follow, and I think that about wraps it up, Wes.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Epibliticus. Very, very fun to commentate this race with you. Very entertaining
Likewise.
race.
And I'll give you the last word. I've been Epi. Out.
I've been Wef Jubster. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great evening.